You think your training will save you. Your combinations, your footwork, that clean pad work you drilled 1,000 times. Then explain why men who train for years still freeze or get dropped in seconds when it's real. Real violence doesn't wait for you to get into your stance. It doesn't care about the colour of your belt, your lineage, or how slick you look on the bags. It hits you when you're not ready, when you're distracted, when your hands are down, and your guard's in your head. That's the difference. Martial arts prepares you to perform. Self-defense prepares you to survive. And if you can't fight back from shock, from pain, from fear, then all the skill in the world won't save you. In this video, I'll break down why most people train for the wrong fight and how you can prepare for the one that actually happens. So keep watching.
The basis of learning how to defend yourself is that someone's going to attack you, and they're going to attack you when you're at your weakest. It's the element of surprise.
Over 70% of assaults on the street begin with a sucker punch. That's the real opening move. Not a jab, not a square up.
Self-defense is where you're fighting from the back foot. George is at a cash point, he's drawing money out, I want to rob it. Bang! I'm going to come in, or I draw my weapon, put a knife to his throat, or I'm going to attack him by surprise. And that's very different to martial art training, and people get the two confused.
You're more likely to be attacked when you're tired, drunk, distracted, or stressed. And that's the exact opposite of how most people train.
Martial art training, someone's throwing a punch, I'm bang, I can see it, I'm moving, boom, boom, I'm moving, crack, crack, bang. It's very stylized even in martial art, because 1, 2, 3, I move, bang, 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 bang. It looks very good. I don't know if that looks very good, but it's a practice, as a way of training that's very cooperative. You know what's coming in.
In the most common video footage of real violence, most victims never even see the first hit. That's how fast it happens. No warning, no time to react.
This is why I always try to teach people to move by concepts. If you're very conceptual when you move rather than specific to certain ideas, you're going to find defending yourself much easier. Like if you look at self-defense, what you're doing is protecting space. And you can look at that space as personal space. This is the space here. Rather than protecting my body, what I'm trying to do is protect that space. Essentially, if I get my hands in that area, in that space, what I'm doing is I'm protecting myself. So that is another way of actually looking at it. But
more than half of street fights involve more than one attacker. So if your training only covers one-on-one, you're not training for reality.
So classic ways of learning how to defend yourself is A, which is what most self-defense experts will tell you, don't get in that situation in the first place, situational awareness. Don't walk down that dark alley, don't turn your back, don't look at your mobile phone, keep your headphones out, all these classic things. But let's talk about the realities of it.
According to crime reports, the average armed robbery lasts less than 90 seconds. That's not a fight. It's an ambush.
There's only so much you can do. If I'm facing this way and I suddenly get punched, there's only two things that are going to happen. First thing is I'm going to fall to the floor. They're going to rob me, take my belongings and run. The second thing is I'm going to fall to the floor. Either way. Because the problem is I didn't see it in the first place. So if I can survive the first element of the attack, the surprise aspect, then what I want to do is fight back, and fight back usually from a dazed state.
Most people freeze during their first violent encounter, not because they're weak, but because they've never trained to respond under shock.
If someone attacks you for real, you don't see it. Yeah. So if you don't see it, you're likely to get hit. There's no ninja skills when you're learning to defend yourself.
The majority of assault victims are caught off guard, walking distracted or with their hands full, not in a stance, not prepared.
When you're defending yourself, whatever your actions are from here are going to count. For me to recover and get my hands up or move and rise and go in and cover that space and fight back and try to smother that space, it's really crucial to understanding the difference between training and martial art and self-defense. And the thing is, a martial art looks nice, self-defense doesn't. And that's the most important thing. I'm not concerned about what I look like when I'm defending myself in the street. What I want to do is just be effective, deal with the fight, stop the guy from punching me in the face, and if necessary, do what I have to do to get home safely to my own family. It's not about looking good at the end of the day, it's about defending yourself safely. There's a difference between training a self-defense and training a martial arts style. And you can do two and have a self-defense mindset. But at the end of the day, you've got to wear two hats.
Adrenaline destroys fine motor skills within seconds. That means your fancy wrist locks and pressure points are useless under real pressure.
There is a difference in attitude, but real fighting is not clean, it's not pretty, it's chaotic, it's ugly, you're not going to look good, and if you're obsessed and self-obsessed with looking good, then you're going to get hurt in a real fight, right? There's no doubt about that. So my advice is have it clear in your mind whether you're learning to defend yourself or whether you're learning a martial art, but don't overlap the two, although you can wear one hat or the other. I was explaining that, but just make sure you're ready, you're street smart, and you're ready to fight if you have to defend your life. Thanks for watching.